Welcome to Shock to the Series. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 17 of Shock to the Series. And at the eye of this one, we are looking at Skies of Arcadia Legends, the GameCube port of the Dreamcast game Skies of Arcadia. And that's why this is in One Shot Month, because it is just a port, not a true sequel or spin-off or anything like that. So I'm including it in One Shot because there's not enough differences to me to justify it being a full-blown series and an entry later on. And I want to go ahead and cover it anyway, because I love this game. You control a team of sky pirates affiliated with the group the Blue Rogues. Vice, your main character, is the leader of that group, and you are resisting the Valuan Empire, who has come and trying to take over. Like I said, your sky pirates, Vice, in this vein, has twin cutlasses that he uses for attacks. Special attacks in this game are all cinematic, which is so fantastic. You got your normal attacks and your magic attacks, which are normal, but then anything that's a special attack that really requires magic and power is a cutscene, which is very nice. You have things like Pirate's Wrath and Cutlass Fury and Skull Shield for Vice. Your two other main party members in this case are Aika, the usual sidekick female, but instead of a normal weapon, she's got this giant boomerang, and you can light it on fire, and it can bring down meteors and stuff, which is really cool. And then you've also got Fina, who is a Sylvite, member of what used to exist as the Silver Civilization. She's one of the very few left, and she's basically kind of the regular fish out of water. She has no idea about the Sky Pirate way, and it takes her a while, but eventually you see her get into it. There's a scene I remember in particular where she finally dresses up in more of Sky Pirate-y garb instead of her kind of white robe and sand, very cleric-y gear that she starts off with. And her weapon, quote unquote, is a pet known as Cupel, and it's kind of like this liquid metal ball creature. And it's definitely the cleric. She uses them to cleanse and remove status effects and things, and do healing spells and all sorts of things. So those are the three main members of your party who you have to use through pretty much all the game. Then, as story dictates, or as you come across them, and you can just use whenever, you get three others that you can swap in and out. And that is Drachma, big dude who it's basically Captain Ahab in a sense. He's looking for what's called an arc whale named Rachnum, and he's got his airship named after his lost son, but he's lost his arm as well, so he's got this mechanical right arm. So like one of his supers is just this ginormous punch, and it's great. You get Gilder. Typical kind of gun-wielding. If you've ever played Tales of Xillia, he is kind of like the Alvin from Tales of Xillia and Tales of Xillia 2. And he's flirtatious, but of course he doesn't want to, he wants to look at other women, but he doesn't want to actually do anything serious. So, very typical. Got his own big ship that he uses to help out. And then you've got Enrique, the crown prince of the Valuan Empire. Since he doesn't want what the Valuan Empire, his empire, is doing, he doesn't like it, he ends up joining Vice and the others. And he eventually even gives Vice his own ship, the Delphinus, as Vice needs it, which is also really cool. So I'm just looking, I'm using Wikipedia because it's been a long, long time since I played this game. It's such an interesting world because there are 6 moons in the skies of Arcadia. That's literally where they are. The world is Arcadia, and they're in the skies of Arcadia. And it's actually at the end. Again, just kind of looking over the story here, where Fina becomes an official Blue Rogue and gets the piratey garb and stuff. But it's still really cool. So it just really stinks. We got the port, and let's see. Yeah, so It dropped the number of random encounters, the port did, but you got more experience to compensate, which I imagine would be nice because there was a fair many random encounters to begin with, in as far as I remember. You got different side quests and subplots, 24 hidden discoveries, and a wanted list of new enemies. So you did get some new stuff. I'm not saying there wasn't anything new, but here's the thing. It got so many good reviews on the GameCube version. Metacritic, it's got a 93 out of 100 on the Dreamcast, 85 out of 100 on the GameCube. Let's see. EGM gave it a 9.4 out of 10 back in the day. Game Informer gave the GameCube version a 9 out of 10. IGN gave the Dreamcast version a 9.2 and the GameCube an 8.5. And that's generally what happens. Unfortunately, ports do get a slightly lower score just because it's already been seen. But in 2006, IGN put it as a 58th best game of all time in their top 100. So I definitely think it's well past time for a sequel. I mean, okay, canceled entries. Let's see here. In addition to the canceled PlayStation 2 and PC releases of the game, a sequel was considered by Sega in the early 2000s, but did not begin full production. Let's see. February 2003, Overworks president Noriyoshi Oba announced that a Skies of Arcadia sequel had entered the planning stages, but it ended up put on hold indefinitely while members of the team were pulled into working on Sakura Wars So Long My Love. Starting in 2010, Sega began a campaign of releasing HD remasters of Dreamcast games digitally on PSN and Xbox Live for PS3 and Xbox 360. Skies of Arcadia was a likely release after Shenmue because it was frequently requested, and it did get trademarked, but a re-release didn't happen, which really stinks. Vice has made a few appearances since then. Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. He was a playable character in that. And there was a racetrack. I need to play that. Where participants drive and fly through the Blue Rogue's home base while looting attacks from the Balloon Empire. Okay. Vice also appears in Sonic the Hedgehog comic adaptation of Transformed, featured in Sonic Universe number 45, and again in the Sonic comics for the World Unite Sega character crossover story arc. And that was a big one where you had Sonic and Mega Man and Street Fighter and Skies of Arcadia. You got a lot of these. So Sega hasn't let the characters die, but I'm really, really hoping we get an actual, official, full-blown Skies of Arcadia sequel soon. I would still love to see it. I think a lot of people would. And that's basically it for this one. I want to know, though, what you guys think. Should the Skies of Arcadia, should the Blue Rogues set sail one more time, or should we leave the world of Arcadia be and go somewhere else? Post your opinions in the top left, right, as usual. And for the last edition of One Shot Month, I am going to take a look at a game that is not just a one-shot, but a 101 shot. That's it for this one, guys. That is lights out on Shock to the Series, Skies of Arcadia Legends.